Welcome back. We're going to go through everything you need to know about the Ghost of Christmas Past. I'm going to talk through what to learn, what it means, and what to say about it. Let's start with the ghost itself. I'm going to whiz through 3 quotations that tell you everything you need to know about the ghost. Each of them you can put on a flashcard if you haven't already, and each of them can be exploded as part of practice. I've put the quotations used in the description if you want to practice this afterwards or later. Number 1 is about its appearance. And this bit is really here to help something make sense for you. So Dickens describes the ghost saying, "It was a strange figure, like a child, yet not so like a child, like an old man." The big question on this ghost is, why does it have such a weird appearance? It's simultaneously old and young. I could have picked a different quotation for this, as there are quite a few when this character is first introduced. But here's the thing. Scrooge has had many Christmases, some of them recent, some of them a long time ago. It's the ghost of his Christmas past. So if that is from when Scrooge was a child, it's been hanging around a while. It's going to be old. Whereas if it was from last year, it's not so old. Hence the appearance of the ghost as both old and young. Quotation number 2 is about the symbolism of its appearance. Fresh green holly in its hand, and its robe is trimmed with summer flowers. I know I've been a bit cheaty here because I've lumped 2 quotations together. The appearance of this ghost is symbolic. Holly represents growth. As it's an evergreen, it represents growth in winter when nothing else is growing. That's why we bring it inside at Christmas to brighten the place up. Truth be told, I don't bring it inside. It's too bristly and prickly, and it does hurt. But there you go. The symbolism remains despite my own dislike of the plant. So the ghost's appearance reflects growth, which is exactly what Scrooge needs. The summer flowers might seem odd, but signs are used throughout the novella to show you how time is moving on. The bells keep ringing, the clock keeps ticking, and summer, symbolising not the season itself, but Scrooge's summer, the time when he was at his best, most full of life, is represented here. For Scrooge, though, summer is gone. His best years are behind him. That's what the ghost will show him. His best times. Although old, in his own winter time, Scrooge is capable of growth and he needs to grow as a person. And the way he will do that is through the 3rd quotation, which describes, "Crown of its head, there sprung a bright, clear jet of light." So he's got a jet of light streaming out the top of his head. This is symbolic as well. And it's the most important aspect of the ghost's appearance. You can interpret the symbolism of light as truth in a few ways. The truth of where Scrooge comes from, his family, his friends, indeed his lovers. The truth of who he is as a person, as if that truth has been infected with greed and covered up. And it's also the truth of what he should be. Don't forget that Scrooge tries to extinguish the light. He's afraid of it as he's hiding from the truth. He's unable to extinguish this truth light, though, at least not until it's shown him what it wants. So the next section is about what the ghost reveals. Remember, this is a whole chapter, a whole stave, and you can't learn everything. If you go through the chapter independently, you might want to add a couple of extra quotations, but don't go overboard. You don't want to be overwhelmed. So I've limited myself to 5, and they're all corkers. So first up, it's Scrooge as a small boy. Everyone has left the school that the ghost shows Scrooge, and yet a solitary child, neglected by his friends, is left there still. If we commit to learning this, and indeed any quotation, we better commit to learning something to say about it. So let's start with the idea that Dickens is creating pathos with this. This is when a writer tries to elicit or draw out sympathy in the reader. We feel pity for Scrooge. We're supposed to feel sorry for him, which is a big change if you think about how Scrooge was presented in the first stave. See my video if you want to revise how Scrooge is presented at the beginning of the novella. Now, if you say that Dickens is trying to elicit sympathy from the reader, you need to say how. So the word neglected means that his friends have almost abandoned him. So he felt abandoned and excluded as a child, excluded by his society, his schoolboy, community, and as a man, he abandons his own society, his own community. He pushes them away. You might think of this as the seed of his emotional detachment, his ability, if that's the right word, to make money without thinking about the people he's making money from and the things they're going through. And look, there's that word solitary making its second big appearance in the novella. The repetition from solitary as an oyster draws the reader's attention to it, if we're paying attention, and shows you that this is one of those key moments that makes Scrooge Scrooge. And it also helps us learn the quotation. It's a kind of 2-for-1 deal for the memory. Let's move on to "Father is so much kinder than he used to be," said by little Fan when she comes to rescue Scrooge from boarding school. What we can work out from this is that Scrooge's dad was a bit of a cruel old guy. That he would leave his own son in school for Christmas is the very definition of what we would now call hands-off parenting. That he would have kept his daughter at home would be a proper emotional kick in the crutch for the character, which is obviously too informal a way to say it in an exam, but it does get to the point. He's the worst dad since Darth Vader. This is more pathos from Dickens and gives us another clue to his emotional detachment. On the plus side, the father has now redeemed himself. He's had some sort of redemption brought on by little Fan. This foreshadows Scrooge's own redemption later. And finally, it's a kind of warm moment in Scrooge's childhood and shows the importance of family in the novella. This is how Dickens is using the ghost to represent the importance of family. The final one from Fan is the ghost's reflection that she had a large heart. This is also about family, and it's a reminder of the values that Scrooge grew up with. He grew up with this experience as a model. She has the capacity to love. She has the capacity to think of others and improve their lot. Scrooge does not. We never find out how Fan dies, but the implication is that the character saves Scrooge as a child, so it's Scrooge's obligation to repay the kindness to Fred, his own flesh and blood, and part of his family. Let's jump merrily along to Fezziwig. It's a great name, and Dickens was famous for creating interesting and vivid names, making his characters more distinctive and memorable to readers. Now, I could highlight quite a few quotations from him. He's a great character, but I've gone for "the happiness he gives is quite as great as if it cost a fortune." Dickens places the abstract noun happiness at the start of the sentence, giving it importance and focusing on the warmth, the generosity and kindness of Fezziwig, almost as if the people he works with, the people around him, are a family of sorts. At the end of the sentence, we have the concept of a fortune, but it says as if it cost a fortune, so it's not even a real one. The greatness, the great value is not in the money, it's in the feeling. So we can use this quotation to represent Fezziwig, the model of kind capitalism, paternally like a father, looking after everyone, his own workers, but also the community of people he lives amongst. Even the girl who is abused by her mistress, even the boy who isn't fed by his boss. He believes in community, and that's a kind of family in itself. He's the kind of man who works and makes money, but also knows how to spend it. He spends his time with people as well as his money. Dancing and food bring joy. The time brings joy. The effort brings joy. The small amount of money brings joy. And young Scrooge appreciates it. The apprentice appreciates it. Dickens put these words in Scrooge's mouth to show us that he has changed his ideas about being a boss and wants to be more paternal. He wants to look at the people around him as a kind of family. Now, let's jump to Belle, who the ghost reveals to Scrooge just as she's rejecting him and cancelling their engagement. The ghost shows her telling Scrooge, "Another idol has displaced me. a golden one. That ellipsis wrapped up in brackets on the screen shows that there is a chunk of text missing. I've highlighted it here so you can see the original context of it. What's interesting is Scrooge's reaction. Dickens portrays him as having no self-awareness in this scene. He's asking what it is that matters so much, and he isn't aware of what it is. Every English teacher I know teaches this quotation in the shortened form with the ellipsis. So let's go with the flow and keep it to a manageable length. Remember, you don't need to be able to quote everything. The word idol is used metaphorically. It means something that you pray to. It's a religious symbol, so conveys a sense that Scrooge no longer worships Belle as the love of his life, but money. It carries connotations of excess. His feelings for money are too strong, too powerful to be resisted, and will therefore lead to harm. Scrooge's ability to see value then has become deranged and unhinged. He can no longer see the value in human connections, and this is the hammer blow to the happiness of his life. There'll be a long period of life where he will have no real joy.
Now, I said we'd go for 5. Let's chuck in one more thing that the ghost shows Scrooge.
Which is what Scrooge realises he's lost. As the ghost shows Belle in her family home with her husband and children, Scrooge looks down at the eldest daughter and realises that she might have called him father. Now, if you're analysing this one, you won't find some clever linguistic or literary device here, and you don't need to do that for every quotation you use. Let's bring back the word I've mentioned a few times now, pathos, because it is crucial to understanding how the Ghost of Christmas Past works, and say how Dickens is using pathos to show the change in Scrooge. We, the reader, feel his loss of happiness in his family life, and there's a genuine sadness. This is the final thing that the ghost shows Scrooge. It's the nail in the coffin, the straw that breaks him. He never gets to have that genuine connection of having children. So when he's redeemed at the end, he uses a proxy family. He becomes a second father because he needs to have those feelings. And that really highlights the profound sadness that Dickens is trying to create with this scene. It's the loss of life for greed. Scrooge regrets his lost opportunities and can't bear the pain that this causes him. Now, I hope that was useful. If you want it to stay in your memory, do something with the information here. Get the quotations on flashcards. Create a lovely set of Cornell notes or a mind map of the Stave. If you want to see how to do that, I'll leave a link in the description. More videos are coming soon, including how to analyse language and structure in English language. So please subscribe, and I'll see you again soon.